Mike, you just talked about all the years you spent in the traditional domain industry with managing the ICANN, accredited registrars, Park.io. What finally convinced you that the entire DNS system needs to be replaced rather than just improved?
Well, I mean, it just comes down to like control. Like I saw, some of my customers, Park.io customers, have their domains taken from them, and that's not right, like you can't just take somebody's. I didn't. So I think that experience of like just having no say, like it's even like as a registrar, like you're at the whim of the registry, and like so as a user is kind of at the whim of a registrar, and then the registrar is at the whim of the registry, and then the registry is like under control of ICANN. So it's all this like lack of. Like, there's no reason. It's like, why is it set up? I can understand why it was set up this way before blockchain and stuff like that. But, like, now, there's no reason for that. And the only reason it continues is for control. Like, people want the control of it, I think. To be able to take the domain names. Because the internet's so important, and, like, they want to control it, I think, a lot of it. I mean, even if there is, like, Spaces becomes really popular and is used, I think a lot of people will still want, just like people use banks and stuff like that and use dollars instead of Bitcoin, I think people will still use it. But yeah, I think for me, just seeing the lack, feeling helpless basically when you can't do anything. Like when the registry's like, we made this decision, it's like, okay, like I can't do anything about it. Like it's like they have complete control over it. So yeah, I think that was what made me realize, that we need.
Yeah, I think one of the misconceptions people have about DNS, they hear about, there's this DNS and you get, there's these .com, these big top level names. And if you look into it in any way, you find out that, there's 12, I think it's 12 root servers that handle all the top level names in DNS. And I think the misconception is like, 12 root servers, and then they delegate, like, if you buy a domain under .com, then the .com one says, okay, this guy over here, he handles this, something.com. And the perception that people, I think, get that's misunderstood is that, it's decentralized because there's all this delegation, all these servers, redundancy, you have to set up. Back in the day when I did network admin, you had to set up your own DNS server and a backup DNS server just because there was no easy services that really did that for you. And so you kind of got into like, getting the zone file just so and blah, blah, blah. Well, you think that you get lulled into this, it's all decentralized because of all the redundancy. But the reality is it's heavily distributed, but not decentralized. And I think that's an important distinction for people to understand. I think the other thing is like, well, it works almost all the time. What's the problem?
Yeah, exactly.
I like, it's rare that, you get DNS failures. There's so much caching that happens. It's in the browser, it's at your gateway, all upstream, which is true. And that can cause a lot of problems, especially when something goes wrong. We've seen this where Cloudflare, which is a content delivery system that brings that content closer to you as a user, has had DNS issues where it just takes down the whole their whole system for a while until they get and when DNS gets poisoned, if somebody maliciously takes over some of these servers and puts out the wrong answers when you're looking up a name, the typical wait time to try again, even if the problem gets fixed, the wait time for that fix to be realized around the world can be like a day to 2 days. So you might find something broken, fix it, and it's still, might be broken for a while. And if you're running a big business, that can be $1 million worth of revenues lost or something like that. So yeah, it's like, I think we take it for granted a lot that it's just always there for us, but that doesn't even, that never addresses the ownership and the sovereignty, the property, elements of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when I was at BitDevs New York City, like a lot of core devs had those same misconceptions. Like they thought like DNS is decentralized because it's distributed, and they think it's like not going to break because it's been around for so long. But yeah, it's like, I think a lot of people miss the main point, which is that naming is completely controlled and completely centralized. So yeah, it's like you can't rely on, you can't trust name, like you can't own and trust the naming because it's centralized and it's controlled by third parties. And I mean, this even goes to like, I mean, I could go on and on, like this even goes on to like, encryption, like third-party certificate authorities, like you need a third party to encrypt traffic. And it's like, it's kind of ridiculous, when you think about it. So it's something that, yeah.
Yeah, the fact that Let's Encrypt even exists is kind of amazing to think that at least you're not beholden to spending, gosh, there was times when I was spending like $800 a year just for a server certificate, back when VeriSign kind of ruled the roost. So, but
it's like, why should you have to encrypt your traffic with somebody else's keys?
Right.
Like, you don't have to, with Dane and stuff. So like if you own your name and there's no reason you should have to do that,